We're speaking now to Mrs. Narcissa Nicholson Rickman in Hendersonville, North Carolina. Mrs. Rickman is 103 years old. She just celebrated her birthday the other day.
Now, if you just go ahead and talk and tell me, can you tell me about some, maybe the early times here in...
Well, back in Civil War.
Well, how about first, when were you born here in...
I was born in Pennsylvania County at Sheriff-Field. Post office was a post office, Sheriff-Field.
Mm-hmm. And then you came down...
And then my father bought a home down at Blantyre in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Then after I was grown up and married, I went to school. My first school I went was Sheriff-Field.
In Sheriff-Field. Now, can you tell me a little bit about that school? What do you remember about the school? Anything?
Well, when we was first went, I was just 6 years old.
Uh-huh.
My teacher was just one in a little old cabin, you know.
Uh-huh.
And rough benches, you know, just hewed out or sawed out. I put legs in and we had to sit there.
Uh-huh. Do you remember how many boys and girls there were in school with you? Were there many or just a few?
Oh, I can remember about, you know, well, first old boy about the spelling book. He was talking about, well, we didn't spell ABC, you know, and I learned that. Then it went all up and I got so far that I could spell up in baker and all that, you know, long. In our school, our oldest class, we'd have to spell, they'd palm us up of the evening, and we'd have to spell and turn one another down, you know. If I couldn't, they'd give me 2 trials on spelling a house or a girl or something, and I couldn't spell that, but she'd pass it on down the next one. If they spelled it, they'd turn me down.
How about the early, your early church activities? Can you tell me anything about...
With a church, we went to a church that's called Campus Creek. It's just now called that, Old Campus Creek. The first church I remember ever going to was there. They took us, my father owned a horse and a buggy. He'd carry us to Sunday school down at Campus Creek. Old preacher, and he'd come to the church. He'd walk, you know, he didn't have nothing.
Was he there, did you have a preacher every Sunday, or was this...
No, I just preached every week. It was Saturday, to run the Saturday at 11 o'clock.
I see.
And then on Sunday at 11, and then he'd walk home, or some of the members would carry him home.
Well, he probably had several churches then,
yes, he would come around, and my father, he stayed a whole lot with my father. He loved him, and my father was an elder of the church, you know, and he liked to be with him, and he said a great deal with him.
What did your father do? What was
he was a farmer, and he was a carpenter, too. He worked in the carpenter's trade. But he ran a big farm. My father did.
You did have a big farm. How many, do you remember how many animals, or what sorts of animals did you have on the farm?
About stock.
Stock, livestock.
He generally kept about 2 or 3 mules. And 4 or 5 cows, and sheep, and hogs, all kinds.
Did you have any pets, any dogs or cats?
Yes, I wouldn't have dogs and cats, too. I wouldn't have but about 1 cat, so my mother wouldn't let them.
Tell me, what did you do for fun when you were a little girl? Did you play games, and what sort of games?
Oh, we played baseball, too.
Played baseball?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
And I just beat a whole lot of them.
How about, what else did you do for entertainment? Did they have the husking bees and quilting parties and things of that
Oh,
sort?
yes, we did. My father didn't like us to go to dances. He went out to school.
Couldn't go to the dances.
No.
But how about the play parties? Did you?
Oh, we played games all the time.
Did you? Yes, and then you went to the meetings, the camp meetings and so forth. I suppose you had a real interesting life, didn't
Oh,
you?
yes, we had suppers and our friends.
Well, what do you think of the recreation and the entertainment that the children of today have as compared to back during your time?
Huh?
Do you think the boys and girls today have as much fun?
I guess they do. I don't believe they do, though. It don't seem like it. I enjoyed it like I did then, but I guess they do.
How about singing now? Did you, I think it was mentioned that you attended singing school.
I don't know about that. How was it you wanted?
Did you learn to sing? Did you go to school to learn how to sing?
Oh, yes, we were on to sing.
Uh-huh.
We were on to singing, but now every week or two. We had a singing teacher, you know.
Uh-huh.
And the old Harlan, Christian Harlan, you heard them talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
We sung in night, and my father would talk singing.
I see.
Yeah, and we had a choir at home. I just had one sister and myself,
Mm-hmm.
and 7 boys. 7 boys.
7 boys.
7 boys.
So there were 9 of you in the family altogether.
Yeah.
Uh,
We had a delightful time
I bet
of
you did.
singing.
do you remember any song? Could you sing me a song now?
Oh, yes, I remember I'm a soldier of the cross and how firmly foundation, all them good old.
How about, would you sing a song for me now? Could you sing
I
me?
think I could.
Go ahead if you will. Just go ahead and sing me. Just pick any song.
I'm a soldier of the cross, and I sing, we're going home down more. I know more about that. We're going home, we're going home, we're going home. I know more. We're home, heavenly land, for we will sing forevermore. I can sing that.
Oh, you're doing real well. That's fine. I bet you all had a good time when you sang
Oh,
these
we
songs.
did have the best singing and good old time, and sometimes it got so happy we just shouted and
Just
had a good time.
Just had a good time.
Oh, I think we enjoy a lot when we was young, a heap more than the youngster does today.
I bet you did.
I think we did. I heard a Sunday school teacher talking Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he just imagined he wished he could just come back to the old home like his father when he was singing them soldier cause, he said, and all those good songs. He said, we don't have them good songs like we used to.
Mm-hmm.
He said he just really did enjoy it better than he did now.
I'll bet that's so. Tell me, when were you married? What sort of a wedding did you have? Can you tell
I
us?
just married at home, you know.
At
just
home,
had
uh-huh.
2 friends and just married at my father's house. Some of them wanted me to go to church. I told them I just wanted to marry at home. My father said he wanted me to marry at home.
Uh-huh. Did you go away anywhere on a
We
wedding
just
trip?
Stayed at home that
Stayed at home.
night with my father and mother. And as many of their friends could be there.
Uh-huh.
The next morning, he took me home. He had a home
I see.
over in Mildred River. He took me to his father's house for a dinner. His father told him to come and bring his wife.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'll give all of my boys and my wives in for dinner, and I'm going to give you.
Uh-huh. What, do you remember by any chance what sort of food you might have had?
We had everything.
Everything?
chicken and pie, and cake, and honey. Father-in-law run had lots of bees.
Mm-hmm.
We had a nice time. We stayed till the evening, and the high sheriff, he heard about it. He saw the whole lot of my father, and he come to the wedding. He says he's going to call her. I said, I guess you think we're going to do something you have to rest.
Well, tell me, what can you remember of the war between the states, of the
Do what?
the Great War? Now, was your daddy in the army?
Yes, he was one of the captains in there. I don't remember officer or something.
And do you remember anything of the times, the hard times that you might have had?
Oh, yes, she did. She had two boys who could farm. They plowed and run the farm while my father was gone. But my father come home, he went to farming. We raised potatoes and beans, cabbage,
Did the
corn.
were there any Yankees around when during this time? Any of the Yankee soldiers, were they here?
Yes, the soldiers didn't bother us much.
They didn't bother you much.
Not much.
How about for food and things? Did they take your food?
Oh, they went in and wanted my mother to cooking some dinner for cows up. They wanted to slow cows. They wanted ham, you know. And she could ham, fix some nice dinner. And I think they took one of my daddy's horses away.
They did.
They had an old broken gate also. They left it.
Well, did you have to take and do your own, fix your own clothes, for instance?
Well, my mother, she made her own clothes, her children's clothes. She spun and wove, you know. She learned me how to card when I was just little.
Did you do all the carding?
Like in garden spin, yes.
Well, what was what sort of material did you use mostly? Did you use linen, use the flax? Did you grow your own flax, for instance, or to make your cloth out of, or did you have to?
Yeah.
And how about for the wool? Did you have wool or sheep to get your wool?
Oh, we had a big gang of sheep and took the wool off me and washed it, and my mother carded and spun it. Had an old-fashioned loom.
Had your own loom?
And she wove it. And the calf, it just weren't me to weave when I got 11 years old.
When you were 11 years old?
I went to weaving, I could weave $5 yards a day.
5 yards a day? Well,
and
that's pretty good. I've tried to do that myself, and it's a chore to do that weaving. Can you tell me a little bit about the sort of clothes that you used to wear? What kind of clothes?
My father and my brothers, she colored them. Sometimes it'd be black and sometimes blue. She had a indigo, what's called, some kind of stuff that would color on blue. And then sometimes she'd mix the blue and the white and make a light gray suits. Oh, she had nice suits, and she know how to sew and make them. She made her own clothes, and she sewed them on my fingers, you know, and made them nice clothes. She learned her children all to work, and my father learned all the boys how to farm. And I've got 3 brothers who live in now, and they know how to farm.
Tell me, what do you have any home remedies for, say, for instance, if someone got poison ivy? Do you remember how they would treat that, or any of the old? I imagine you had to do that. Wasn't a doctor? Was there a doctor anywhere near you?
The doctor I don't know, doctor. We called old Uncle Dr. Lottie. He was a crippled old man. Well, I don't know what all kind of medicine he used, a whole lot of herbs and tea, you know.
Didn't you have some of your own at home that you folks used?
Yes, my mother grew it in the garden, all kinds of tea for babies now. Catlets and rhubarb and all that.
And do you remember how they fixed any of these old things, or Any of the...
Made the tea. How to make the tea.
Well,
Oh, yes, they'd look at it and keep it. Oh, well, fix some dirt and all. They'd wash it clean. And she'd put it in the pot and boil it, you know. And she'd take it out and strain it with a clean rag and make the tea. And sweeten it with homemade molasses. We didn't have no sugar them days. I can't hardly remember the first sugar my father bought. I think, though, he went to a Gulf Street one time and bought us a barrel of sugar. It was brown sugar, it wasn't white.
Sure. That's...
But Lord, we thought it was awful good.
I bet you did. I bet that was really... Well, how about along that same line, did you have candies and things when you were a little girl?
Yes, we made our candy.
Made your own candy. What kind of...
Well, I said it boiled it down, you know, we got thick, and then we'd put it some more and fix it. And then pat it up, and sometimes we'd pop popcorn, make them look popcorn candy. Well, it was good.
I bet it was.
I can't eat no candy now. But I could eat a little.
I bet you could. How about transportation? How did you get around? Did you ride in a horse and buggy, or did you...
Yeah, we generally went in an ox wagon.
In an ox wagon.
Well, my dad had a yoke oxen, too, and he'd hook them up on Sunday morning. All those children would get in there, and boys had little old straw hats on all of them. And a homemade thing.
And did you, when you came, when you moved, for instance, how did you move? When you went from, when you came down here, how did you come?
Well, we had mules, you know. When I come this last time, I come in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
I bet it was a lot different.
And I drove in the ox wagon in the car today. I'm scared of cars.
Oh, dear. Can you remember when the first car...
Yes, when I rode in the first car to Hendersonville.
In Hendersonville, did you really?
Yeah. I had a brother-in-law, Mr. John Smathers. Her father, and I went to visit her mother. Her mother was a sister of my husband. And I went to visit him, and he was at work. And Sadie was just a young, pretty young girl then. And she worked in the phone office. She had to go back, and I wanted to go to visit my other brother-in-law. And Mr. Smathers said, well, I'll just take you. And I said, well, John, I called him John. I said, I'm scared of riding that thing. It's just a one-seated thing. And I had to ride inside the trap.
Oh, dear.
And, well, I was pretty good. And I met a horse and buggy, and that horse was on the way, and he had to stop on the way.
Oh, dear.
And let that horse and man pass his buggy.
I'll bet that was really something,
Well, it was fun. After all, I could just see once in a while that little old car.
Oh, boy. Oh, do you remember any big snows or any big, any real big snows up here?
Lord, I'm mercy, I reckon. I was up to my waist. I couldn't get out. The cows couldn't hardly. That's a big, there ain't no big snows now. Felt like we had. And sleet, and the icicles was close to the wall, down the porch as long as my arm.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it was awful cold in them days.
What did you do on, in days like that when you had real bad weather?
My father, boys that had a big pile of wood, you know, in the fall. They'd haul up all the land and winter wood. Them boys would get out there, rake off the snow and just cut wood. And then there's a big farm, we'd sit in there, popcorn,
Oh, boy.
that candy.
We've been talking now a little bit about the real old times. How about going on up a little bit? Can you tell me how many children did you have? Did you have any children?
5.
5?
4, 11. 4, 11. Well, 11 child died. It was a baby.
And your husband? What did your husband do?
He farmed.
He was farming.
Yeah, it was the old home.
Uh-huh. And did he come down here to Hendersonville with you?
Yeah. He was raised on Mills River, you know, and I come to, so we married him.
And did he farm all his life?
Yeah.
He was a farmer all his life.
That's all he knows.
Oh, and then when he died, did you have a real hard time? How did you get along?
Oh, well, I was smart. My brothers and brother-in-laws was nice and good to me. I had a brother-in-law, Tom Rickman. His brother, he was a nice one. He was a lawyer.
I see.
He was so nice and good. They sent me a box of groceries and they give me money, and my oldest boy was just 15 years old. The older boy I had, he could plow, and my uncle had 2 or 3 horses, and he learned him to plow, and he plowed, and we raised our stuff, and I rented out part of my.
I see. And then you stayed on the farm?
I stayed on the farm and sent the children to school and went to church and Sunday school. So they was all married. But my son, he was last married. And he stayed. So we sold out on the Boston home now. I was so sick hold up. And the doctor said the water, I had such a cold spring. He said that the water was too hard. He wanted me to get out of there. I sold my farm, bought me a little home at Blantyre, me and my son.
And your son.
And we lived there together. He married about 2 years after we moved to Blantyre.
And what did he do after you moved to this?
Well, he worked in a store there on this town for a long time. He made us a garden, and we had chickens and cows. And he'd tend to the cow and milk her.
Well, just the other day, I understand you celebrated your 103rd birthday. Is that correct? When was
Sunday?
Sunday.
I was 103 years old last Saturday.
Last Saturday.
Yeah.
Did you have a big party this year?
Oh, we had a nice time here on Sunday. Not like I used to. I wasn't able to go, you know. We just had such a big son-in-laws and all. They wanted me to go so they could drive me up to the table in the car. I was sure done things.
You have so many beautiful flowers around here. These were all presents.
I just had the most flowers, and I got a lot of pretty gifts, and I got a whole lot of money. They just gave me a whole lot of money.
Well, tell me something. What, after having lived all these years and having seen everything change so much, what do you think about times nowadays?
Well, I think sometimes that maybe we're not so bad as we always told. I was talking to a young man not long ago. He said we looked at things darker now than we ought to. He said he thought that the change had been that the young folks had more education. They know how to do business. He said a young man, young woman can't get a job anywhere unless they have a high school education. And I have a son-in-law that grandson that is a dean in Senator College or something. He said that he worked his way up college. He said he thought that the young folks these days had so much more advantage than they did in my days. That they know how to do business better. And he said that all his students in his class, he said that they claimed that they thought it was more convenient for young folks of education. But in some things they didn't have the pleasure that they did there.
Well, after we've been talking to several of you old folks and listening to you tell us of how things used to be, I think that Without doubt, you folks had a good time back then, and on so much less than it takes for us
Yeah,
now.
they had a good time, but they wasn't well learned like you all now are. You know, you all go to college and have a good education, you know. You can tell us more about things than we could tell you all.
Well, I think you learned it perhaps the hard way. You had to go out and do it, whereas we can
But
go
I
and...
think the hard way you learn this whole lot, don't you?
When you learn it, you really learn it well.
Yes, we do. We learn it from the head going.
How many grandchildren do you have?
I've got 24 grandchildren.
24 grandchildren.
And 23 great-grandchildren
23.
and 6 great-great-grandchildren.
Can you tell me about the churchyard where your husband is buried, and about the stone that you got for him? I understand that's a little story in that.
The stone. What?
The tombstone that you got for your husband's grave.
Yes, I said, no, I put one up there, a double one for me and him both.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was nice. It seemed like that I wanted to. It didn't cost me so very much.
How were you able to do that? How were you able to do it?
Well, friends gave me a whole lot of birthday, you know,
Uh-huh.
and the Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And I got a pension, you know,
I see.
check. I just saved it up and done that other thing. And I showed my granddaughter one day. She was taking me up there, and I said, Edna, do you know what I'm going to do on this day? And she said, no, Grandma, I don't. She said, you're going to take flowers, put on Grandma. I was taking. I said, I'm going to put me up a tombstone there. Well, she said, Grandma, if you're able to share it, she said, I'll give you the happy. I said, well, I'm not going to do it myself, I guess. I said to my granddaughter, let's say, share. I said, you see that man? I said, Nancy, I said, it happens to be and tell him to come out here and talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, he's not here, and he comes stepping in, and he said, yes, I'll put it up. He put it up for $150.
Mm-hmm.
And he went and put it all up, and then wrote to me that he had it up and go out there and see if I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I told him I'd out there like taking my chair and sitting down beside him.
Oh, dear.
My grandson took our picture
Uh-huh.
here a month or two ago, and he was standing by the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has certainly been an interesting talk, and I hope that you're going to be able to celebrate many more birthdays. And happy birthday for the one you just had.
I've had a birthday ever since I was 95. Oh, ever since I was 60 years old, they gave me my birthday.
Uh-huh.
Children would, you know. And on Saturday, and yesterday was my last.
Uh-huh. Well, thank you so much, ma'am. We certainly enjoyed talking to you.
Oh,